What's up, scrubs? Welcome back to more competitive stuff. I just finished my run in the MCS Week 10 as absolute bottom place aside from those who dropped, 1 and 7 with Vampire Spright. Retainer Spright, I'd say, just because it's only running the Retainer and Domination. But this is about as meta as Vampires will ever be, as you can see from the title. And here's my record, right? 0-1 versus Sword Soul, big brick. 1-0 versus Predaplant. They forgot Elf gave targeting thing and banished themselves and lost. And then 4 Ishizu Tieraments losses in a row. One of those was very close. We went to Chainlink 11, very close. I could have won that. One of them I also had some game, but yeah, the other two just got demolished. Then was Rika Sun Avalon. I had some game. I took the Maxi challenge. I should not have done that probably. Didn't work out for me, right? And then finally Ishizu Tier Element, which I lost against with a well-placed called by, but they told me they had another called by set, and they also had a DD Crow in hands. That was never going through. So, this is my deck list. I'll go through it real quick. Cyberstein. This is just a good one-of in Spright, right? This feels like instant fusion for Tier Element, but for Spright, because it instantly wins you the game against any spell decks like Runic. But it's sacky, it's a one-of, it's unsearchable, you can't get it off of Gigantic. But it's a 2, and I figured I might as well put it, and I like it. 3 Max C. I could see cutting down on this format, just because Ishizu Tier Element doesn't really care that much at all. However, getting that advantage back is very important. And it is a 2, which means it has unique synergy with Spright. I still think it's worth putting it at 3. Kitten did not come up at all, really. But it did come up. It has come up a lot in testing. It's a 2, and it's good for chasing shit out, baiting out negates and stuff. Cleaning up board states. It's not fantastic. You're not happy when you open Kitten instead of, like, Jet. But I think Kitten is worth the inclusion here. 3 Retainer. This is the Vampire thing. You run 3 Retainer and 2 Domination. This is the most streamlined that it could be. It's very small Vampire. I know it's hardly Vampires, but it's the most meta Vampires will ever be. And I like Spright anyway, so I thought I'd take it. It's not optimal for Spright. I'd say right now for Spright, Melfi's good for it. Pure is pretty good just because of Max C shenanigans, but it's not perfect. Runic is pretty good. Sprite's in a weird place right now. It really is. Ishizu Tier Element just kind of blows Spright out. Sometimes. Hyperia, I don't know. It's a good 2. It's just a 2 that gives you more advantage. And if this is your normal summon, and you have Blue and Jet and stuff in the back, you are happy. Otherwise, you summon this off of, like, Gigantic or Elf to get some things. Really, you don't want to summon it off Gigantic. Pretty much always you want to be summoning Retainer. Blue and Jet, I don't think I really have to explain too much. They're crazy. I find that Jet is a lot better in this than Blue, because you prefer things like Starter, Smashers to Red, right? Because really, Red and Carrot, you get an Omni Negate most of the time with Domination, right? Otherwise, you probably are going through a Blue to Jet starter for Red or Carrot. If you don't get Retainer up, you need that stuff. Ghost, Ogre, and Snow Rabbit. I was playing 2 of these because I expected to play some Runic. I expected there would be still a decent amount of Runic players out there. And there was nothing. I have not seen any Runic this entire tournament, and this did nothing for me. Yeah, not very good. Not very good. Ash, playing it as a cross-out target, didn't come up. Nibiru, there was one time that I could have used it against a tier player, and they hand-ripped it with triple tack. No. You don't even need this as a cross-out target, right? Because you can just play around it with Gigantic. So, I didn't need this at all. It just didn't come up. Triple tack. I should have been putting this at 3. I bricked too much to justify not doing it, and yeah, I did brick on it once. I bricked on double triple tack once, but that's because my opponent, who was also on a Shizu, who was on a Shizu tier, also bricked, so they couldn't turn it on until they literally killed me. Pot of Prosperity is crazy, keep this. Silent Graveyard. Silent Graveyard is very good. What I should have been playing was End of Anubis. End of Anubis is... End of Anubis is very good against tier. So is Silent Graveyard, but End of Anubis you mostly get off Mannequin Cat. So this is better going first, Mannequin Cat, End of Anubis, and Silent Graveyard is better going second. I think probably want to play 1 End of Anubis, maybe 2 Silent Graveyard if you're really going for that Ishizu tier matchup, which is very plausible. I mean, I fought more Ishizu tier than I did not Ishizu tier. It's kind of... Okay. It's just like... I kept losing advantage off of this and not being able to keep up because I couldn't gain it back because I was basically spending this to make sure they didn't get more advantage against tier limit. And against non-tier limit, this didn't help me much at all. I don't think it did insulate me against Rika Princess, against Rika Sinavalon, but I didn't really need it, you know? One criticism I got for this deck when I posted it was too much going second, and I feel like this... They were arguing, I was kind of arguing against Silent Graveyard, not really arguing, but I was saying this didn't show that well for me, but it kind of did. The reason that Ishizu tier element player bricked, that I said about triple tack, was because I Silent Graveyarded them twice, and they couldn't get any sort of place started, so they were just Sheeran and Snow beatdowning me. I think this is good, but I'm very iffy on it, right? Because when it works, it really works, and when it doesn't, it really sucks. And if you're losing advantage, tier limit will out-advantage you, and with Spright, I was having a lot of situations where I'd have a Jet in hand, and I really wanted to use it, but I couldn't, because I couldn't special summon it, because I didn't have another 2 any other way to get to a 2 at all. Called By performed fantastically, so did Crossout Designator. However, I had way too big of a Crossout Designator package. I should have just kept like Maxi, maybe Ash Blossom, Imperm. That's about it, really. Imperm's pretty good this format. I'll jump to that, I guess. It's not perfect, but it does hit a decent amount of things. It hits Rhino Heart, it hits Kit Kalos, it hits all sorts of other decks, like if Sword Soul. He didn't go for any Moye play, he went for like Long Wong and Taya. But this hits a lot of decks, and it does also hit Ishizu tier, so I feel like this is a good hand trap right now. Starter, it's fantastic, play it. Gamma Burst, this was another card where they were like, this is another going second thing that doesn't do a whole lot. It performed incredibly well for me in testing, right? I would go first, I would get full combo, I would end on about Elf, Retainer with the Domination, Red Carrot, another special of like Jet with the Elf, and X amount of, like, called by silent graveyard stuff. And even sometimes something like Mannequin Cat or IEP Masquerena. And I would lock them out, and then I would Elf, bring back Jet, Jet search Gamma Burst, and then OTK them turn 3. Gamma Burst did nothing in the tournament. It did so much during testing, it did nothing during tournament. And I think one of the reasons why is I didn't get a whole lot of testing, because I was just testing on ladder, right? There was only like 2 people playing tier limit, and I mean, Gamma Burst didn't do anything against them. So, I don't know about Gamma Burst. A lot of people are saying it's another going second card, it isn't very good. I feel like it could be really good. It's just not. You know? It's good against things that aren't tier limit, and so that maybe... But I feel like it could be good against tier limit too, because you really want to OTK them. You really want to Onibimaru, banish whatever they have left, and then summon blue, summon Jet, summon Carrot or Red or something, and activate Gamma Burst and kill them, because you just want them to not be able to come back, because if they get an inch, they will take a mile, but I'm not sure how it's performing. Smashers is another thing. Running both Gamma Burst and Smashers was very normal before tier limit came out. And Smashers did really well in testing too, but it's great for, I mean, you banish like a starter engrave, banish a retainer that you already spent the domination on, and you get a banish, which is crazy against tier limit. Maybe you cut the Gamma Burst and just play Smashers. That might just be what has to happen. Evenly matched. This is a turbo going second card, and it worked really well for me. It absolutely hosed Rickus and Avalon before they were able to build back because they used Maxi. I did get it off against a couple... The reason I was in that Ishizu tier limit match was because I resolved evenly match, and they banished everything but a Sheeran. Or not a Sheeran, a Rolkalos. It really worked, but I feel like other cards could work better. I feel like Dark Ruler could work better. I feel like other cards could work better. The only thing tier limit has against Dark Ruler no more is, what, Crime? And a lot of people aren't even on Crime. And sure, that is also said for evenly matched. And I guess evenly matched just hits it better, but I don't know. I really don't know. I was playing way too much going second. Maybe I should have been on something like Dimensional Barrier or Dimensional Fissure. Dimensional Fissure is pretty good, but I also don't like it as much because it hits Retainer, but going first, it is great. I think I should have been on Dimensional Fissure. I really should have. I already talked about Imperm and Domination. Extra deck. Exterio is my Cyber Sign target. I don't know, man. I got nothing else. Gin Buster. This didn't come up at all. But I feel like it's a good level too, so yeah. Cat Shark came up a decent amount in testing, because it's kind of just a worse... It's another Zeus enabler, right? But it has less attack, and it doesn't have that bounce effect that Centauria has, but it also has a little attack boosting effect, which could be good in corner cases, especially if you're not playing Gamma Burst. Mannequin Cat is good. I never used it, because I didn't really have any good targets for it. The main time I used it was against Sword Soul, actually, in my round 1, in order to basically bait out a negate, an imperm, when they summoned a fire... Was it Sword Soul? Someone had a fire on field, and I baited them out into activating it, into negating it, basically. Forced it out, really, because I would have summoned a red, and they really didn't want red on the field. Onibimaru was crazy. I could see playing it at 2, honestly. I really could. Cutting something like, I don't know, Gin Buster could be very useful for this. 2 Gigantic, I feel like 2 Gigantic is necessary. Zeus is very good. Not necessarily against tier, but it's pretty necessary sometimes. Phoenix didn't come up, but it could come up. It's really nice to just have this. It's very important to have that kind of thing just on demand. Masquerena, really the only links that came up were Elf, and sometimes Masquerena and Avermax in testing and stuff like that. But in tournament, all that came up was really Elf, Gigantic Spright, Mannequin Cat, Onibi Maru, Exterio, and Centaria. Everything else didn't really come up outside of that, except for Prosperity. Really just use that Spright toolbox. You know, we don't have like, I guess, Ninja Smoke Mosquito or some other stuff, but it's still a pretty good toolbox. I'm not on Sucker. I was on it for a bit because vampires, but I'm not on enough to justify it. And if I'm getting enough where I'm summoning Retainer off of Elf and proccing Sucker, I might as well just make like Dark or IP Masquerena or something, you know? Or something else. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. It never came up in testing at all. So let's try to fix this. Let's try to take some stuff into consideration. I'm not sure what to do here. I feel like Di-Fi should be played. Silent Graveyard, we'll put that in as a maybe for now. I think we should try to fix this. I think this is very fixable. I think Super Poly performs pretty damn well, especially with the fact that Verte is a 2. That's just pretty nice. You can make a Dragostapelia off of your opponent's stuff. Very nice, very nice. And I also have Starving Venom in here. I don't think we need Cat Shark, really. I really don't. Onibi Maru could be at 1. Yeah. Avermax Mask, it's funny, it's cool, it's meh. One thing I was considering was Merly of my own, to try to do some of that stuff, but it doesn't really work. You could maybe do it to make it like a 2 and a crossout designator target. That could be very funny. And I don't know, play like some fusion monster, like Mud Dragon or something, to benefit off it. You could play Shufflers of your own. Like, where the hell is Udora? I could see that. Like, there was one game where my opponent activated Agido and milled, like, 2 Shufflers, Kelbeck, and, like, a name, and then they milled more names off of the Kelbeck and shit, and they just milled both of my dominations, all my good shit, basically. Like a starter, everything. Both my starters, I think. Another thing I could see is D-Barrier. This is a very good card. That's about all I have to say. It kills Sword Soul, it doesn't kill tier, but it really, really hurts them. It basically makes them, like, what? Redoer, Dweller Pass, something like that. I'm not sure what amount I should play these things at. I also had Gamma here. It's another, like, hand trap. It's okay. I put DD Crow in here because a lot of people are playing it right now for pretty obvious reasons. Could also put Bell in there, but I don't want to make the crossout package way too big. In fact, I might even just cut Ash. But Ash is also a max C out, so we gotta consider that. We gotta put our Retainer in here. And our Domination. This is always going to be the things here. One thing I really wanted to do was play 1 Voivode and 1 Awakening. Never came out. It's really cool. just a little bit too bricky, and why do that when you can just take domination, right? You know, just take domination, take your Omni. Wavote is cool, domination is just better. What else could we do? Is Soul Scissors in the game yet? It is not. Unfortunate. Kitten and Capshell are the kind of drawy guys. We'll see about those. What else was I on that was good? Prospy. Prospy is really important. I think Spright is just way too good at using Prosperity to not use it. Because really often you just want that one card, and even if you don't, your opponents know you just want that one card, so they might just ash the pot. I mean, like, you can just shorten your toolbox a bit to dig 6 cards deep, which is ridiculous. This deck is heavily teched out for the mirror. Like, maybe a bit too much. Like, Dimensional Fissure is kind of just better than Silent Graveyard? Not really, not really. They can play around Di-Fi, like a decent amount. They can't play around Silent Graveyard that much, but also it's harder for me to utilize Silent Graveyard as it is Di-Fi. End of Anubis is crazy, it's also bricky. Let's see. What else could we be on? Ghost Ogre is just not it. It's not it. It's just not it. Do I have Smashers in there? No. In fact, I don't have a lot of Spright stuff in there. Hold on. Carrot, red, 3 jet. See a bell. Honestly, like, okay. Cyberstein Exterio kills Runic to death. It hurts a lot of decks too. Does not hurt Tier pretty much at all, right? I could see cutting these. I could see adding this. I could see... Is Beaver... I feel like Beaver's better than Capshell. How do we clean up this list? I like Super Poly at 3. If we're running Super Poly and Di-Fi, I don't see the needs for Silent Graveyard. Silent Graveyard is crazy, but I feel like Di-Fi and Super Poly is another card that requires discarding cards, which is a little yikes. And it's also a lot different going, it's a lot like more going second oriented, whereas so same with Silent Graveyard. And while Silent Graveyard is more impactful than Di-Fi, it might just be worth it to cut down the Silent Graveyards. Maybe. Another thing I could see is that ratio, but I'm not so sure about that. 6 cards. Could cut Cross out and cut out the whole package. Could Cut down on Ash Blossom. I did lose to Maxi a decent amount, but not a whole lot. Not as much as you would say, as you would like think, right? And we already have 3 outs, so there's that. Play 1. 4 cards. Kitten. Kitten. Kitten or Hyperia. I kind of like Kitten more. I really like Kitten. I know it's not that good. Hyperia is probably better, but I like Kitten more, so I simply, it gets the favoritism bonus. I could see cutting Super Poly, actually. Maybe make it 1 and just make it a Verte target, but that means it's worse going second. I feel like the 3 triple tactics is pretty necessary. I mean, how else do you... I mean, I was on 2 triple tactics and 1 Prosby, and I was just bricking too much. I just was. I could see cutting down on Maxi yourself. Tier does not care. It really doesn't. I could see that. You care, so you want it as a cross-out target so that you don't, if you draw a cross-out, you can negate it. I feel like I have too much of a cross-out. Cool. That might be it. We need another extra deck card. What's good in the extra right now? Could put back in Cat Shark. Zeus? Oh wait, I don't have Zeus. IP doesn't do anything. I could do Dagda, but I don't want to. Could do Alsa, but I don't think that's very good. Especially because you don't really have a good way to make it. Like, your only Earth is, what, Kitten? Yeah, Kitten and Maxi. Don't care. What about Rolkalos as a super volley target? That'd be funny. Nah, Dragos Stapelli is just better. It's just better. Let's think. This is a hard one. We do Pentastag. It's not terrible. Underclock Taker. Security Dragon. You have no way to collect this. Other than Nightmare Phoenix. Don't really care. Cerberus. Wee Witch's Apprentice. Which is worse dark. Barricade Borg. Don't care. Ahashima. What lines could you do with Ahashima? Right? There's not really any reason to go Ahashima. We're not playing Swap Frog, and I don't feel like Swap Frog is the right play right now. Pure Light. Or Gin Buster. Gin Buster's probably the play, right? Because even though it didn't really come up, it is still really good. Yeah, Ripidocus. Yeah. Track Black could be funny. Probably not worth. No, doesn't matter. Cross Sheep could work. It really could. And I want to put in Cat Shark, though. Curse Javelin's decent, right? It's kind of just worse than other stuff we already have, though. Alright, I think this is our list. I think, obviously, if you're playing this yourself, might wanna take out, like, Cat Shark or something. Play some different cards. Like, play some better, like, Gin Buster or Pentastag or something else. I don't even know, man. Cross Sheep, maybe? I don't care. This deck is weird. Vampire Spright is not optimal. Right now, if you're looking for a Spright variant, play Pure, play Runic, play Melfi. Unless you want to have fun, in which case play this deck. Or Melfi, or Pure. Probably not Runic. I really like Vampires. I love them a lot. They're one of my favorite decks, if not my favorite deck of all time. And I'm happy that they have some form of meta viability, just as being a small retainer engine in Spright. But at the end of the day, it doesn't have a whole lot of game. It has slightly less game against here than other Spright variants. That's about it. Against every other deck, it's great. It's just a good deck. It's got everything with Spright with a nice Omni Negate so that they don't lose to a whole lot. It's fantastic. But in the big leagues, in the MCS, didn't fly. And yes, it could have cleaned it up a lot more. Yes, certain things were not played that probably should have. Yes, I was pretty going second heavy, and yes, it was pretty bricky. Yes. But, at the end of the day, I'm pretty proud. I thought it was a very fun time. I had a very fun time. I'm exhausted. I've been streaming for 5.5 hours now. But I hope you had a great time, too. If you watched it, and I hope you do, I understand if you don't. But I'll see you in the next time. See you later, guys. Bye.